EA Play has concluded and, in my opinion, was one of the most boring conferences that I've ever seen. I was not too impressed by most of what was shown, but Battlefront 2 surprisingly had some of the most interesting news. I made a video discussing why I thought EA Play would decide the fate of Battlefront 2, which you can watch by clicking the card at the top, and from what we heard, the game will continue to have added content. However, I do feel that the game will not receive anything too major, at least for a while. What was mentioned though does sound very promising and may be able to revitalize the game further with mention of the biggest map yet, as well as a new large-scale game mode. So let's go ahead and talk about what all was mentioned. I will be referring to the news received from the live EA Play event as well as a new news post. The link will be in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The major reveal was that Clone Wars content is indeed being added, with multiple levels taking place on Geonosis, as well as the largest level ever being added to Battlefront 2. This sounds pretty cool. A new map is always fun in any game. As I have mentioned in past videos though, I just hope that we will get some sort of server browser or map selectors so that I can actually play these maps. As well as new maps, 4 new heroes will be added: General Grievous, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Count Dooku, and Anakin Skywalker. Geonosis, General Grievous, and Obi-Wan have all been leaked, so I wasn't too surprised to see these announcements. I did not expect Dooku or Anakin though. It is really cool to see 4 additional heroes being added to the game. Hopefully they will all have new and interesting abilities that can add even more variety to the different heroes and villains. This content is said to be added in the fall, with monthly updates being added to the game. I would assume that Grievous and Obi-Wan will all be added one month, then we will see Dooku and Anakin added in another month. Kind of a shame that we will still have to wait for this content, but at least we have some new content with the solo season, as well as with new updates that will arrive before the Clone Wars content. Quality of life updates, events, and fixes are said to be added on a regular basis in the meantime. In July, we'll see the addition of a Hero Starfighter mode. This mode is said to be a more focused approach to Hero Starfighter battles. There will be teams of 4, like in Heroes vs Villains, with everyone beginning the game as a Hero Starfighter. If you are taken out, you will respawn as either a normal fighter, bomber, or interceptor. I assume you can choose your class. Victory is achieved once all enemy Hero Starfighters have been destroyed. What is interesting is that it doesn't mention rounds. This could point to this game mode potentially only lasting a few minutes rather than several minutes. This is kind of how Ewok Hunt is, as well as the matches are only around 5 minutes. Maybe Battlefront 2 is going in a shorter game match time direction of some kind. I think this new mode may have the potential to be very cool for me, even though I'm not a huge fan of Starfighter Assault. I find the mode to be too grindy and unfocused. Having a smaller scale space battle could be a lot of fun, as you have to worry less about random encounters and focus more on intense dogfights revolving around less ships. And what I mean by random encounters is just, you're focused on an objective or a target and then just someone out of nowhere just destroys you within seconds. I feel that this will have a more Star Wars feel to it, which I do not currently get with Starfighter Assault. The livestream also pointed to a new squad system being added this summer, which will allow for easier play with friends. Battlefront has always had a problem with squads ever since Battlefront 2015 introduced the buddy system and Battlefront 2 introducing the random squad creation system. The news post mentioned spawning directly onto squad mates. I'm not sure how well this will work, since Battlefront 2 can tend to be more chaotic than Battlefield games. Imagine spawning on a buddy before getting rushed by Darth Vader. I do think it worked fairly well in Battlefront 2015 as well as the Battlefield games, so maybe the restrictions on spawning on buddies who are in combat will be added to this game as well, and I'm sure that it will be. We also got a tease at a new non-linear large-scale mode being added later this year, where players will fight for control of objectives. The livestream mentions that you will be capturing command posts and attacking and destroying capital ships. This is by far what I'm most interested in and have been wanting since the game's release. It is a shame that it will almost be a year after the game's release before we get a non-linear big team battle, but at least it's coming. There are a couple interesting things about the words mentioned when describing this mode. Command posts were specifically mentioned and were what players fought over in the original Battlefront games. I'm sure most of you who also played Battlefront 2 2005 can hear the different announcer voices in your head right now talking about command posts being captured and lost. Another interesting mention was fighting for the destruction of capital ships. Capital ships were fought over in the space battles of Battlefront 2 2005, as well as in a PSP version of Battlefront, which actually saw you fighting to control large laser cannons which fired up into space at capital ships. This PSP game allowed you to get into a starfighter and travel to space above the battle on the ground and fight in a space battle between the capital ships. The space battle was reliant on the ground battle and vice versa. I honestly doubt that we will have simultaneous ground and space battles, especially considering the amount of detail that is in the game. But imagine how cool something like this could be. This would truly be a large-scale battle and something that we haven't really seen in multiplayer gaming recently. Not that many games offer the chance to engage in massive battle scenarios of this scale. But even without a mode like this, I think that finally having a non-linear game mode will be extremely refreshing for the game. I for one am burnt out with the attacking and defending nature of Battlefront 2 and want more diverse and interesting battles that are only available in non-linear battles. I have been playing Conquest more in Battlefield 1 and have had the best time being in games where both sides are fighting for the same objectives. It really gives you a greater sense of focus as you realize that your opponents are trying to best you at the same exact thing that you are trying to accomplish. This is how games have worked for centuries if you think about it. Look at chess, for example. Can you imagine if one player had to take out the king while the other just had to defend the king with no real way of taking out the opponent's king? It would be extremely boring and not lead for more varied gameplay of attack and defense. Finally, having a push and pull game type in Battlefront 2 will be great. And that is about all of the news that we got from EA Play concerning Battlefront 2. This announcement was honestly one of my favorites of the entire event. EA Play this year was pretty boring in my opinion, so I was glad to see that at least Battlefront 2 had something to discuss that sounded promising. It would have been nice to have seen actual gameplay and whatnot, but we did need to listen to a football player for 10 minutes, as well as watch a mobile game for another 10 minutes. Those things were super important. We totally didn't need to learn more about Anthem or Battlefield 5 or Battlefront 2. And speaking of Battlefront 2, I think it has the potential to become something great, and I hope that the game will be able to deliver the Star Wars experience that it promised in the last EA Play event. And that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel, and let me know what you thought about the new Battlefront 2 news. Are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? Do you think it's promising or not promising at all? Does it sound, kind of empty if you think about it? Because we didn't see anything other than like a picture of Geonosis and a picture of General Grievous. That I may be forgetting something, but I'm pretty sure that's all we actually saw. Everything else was just mentioned or discussed. So yeah, it's awesome to hear about it, but again, we've just heard so much about Battlefront 2 and haven't really seen anything. The things that we have seen have been pretty disappointing to me. The progression system being overhauled or whatever really didn't feel that great for me, especially considering how those that already have purple star cards didn't have to go to all the work that I'm now going to have to put in to get those same cards, so I'm at a disadvantage from the beginning. And especially for new players hopping in, they're going to be at a huge disadvantage. So anyway, that's just one of the problems I have with the game. I've discussed Battlefront 2 so much, I feel like, so if you want to hear what all I think about it, just watch any of my other videos. I'll try not to bore you here. But yeah, I think that Battlefront 2 is promising. I don't want to give up on it. A lot of me has felt like I should just move on, but I was super excited about this game from the last EA Play event that we had, and seeing its reveal was just something that was so cool to me. So I hope that the game will be great. I mean, a year after its release, if it's able to really have all of this new content and be able to have some really awesome stuff, then I think it'll be awesome. So I hope that it's going to improve, and I hope it'll be in a really cool spot. So yeah, just thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, all that beautiful stuff. Consider subscribing, and yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Also, I'm recording this on Saturday after EA Play, so there's tons of new stuff being revealed at E3, hopefully within the next couple days. So make sure to stay tuned. I'll be discussing some other stuff, hopefully. So yeah, just thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.